Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we finished off Part 2 Battle Tendency with the Ascended One. Continuing on, Cars was still alive after being boiled basically in lava. He managed to find a way out. He cut off JoJo's arm, and eventually JoJo was able to erupt the volcano and send Cars up into space where, he was just stuck. He froze, and he was stuck, and he was just there, floating through space for the rest of eternity. Which means no matter what, as for the rest of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you can always sit there and be like, Cars is still out there. He's just out there, man. So yeah, and it appeared that JoJo had died, but he did come back eventually. He came back for his funeral, but he didn't realize that they were having a funeral for him. Because he thought that Suzy Q, his new wife, Suzy Q Joestar, I guess, he thought that she had sent the telegram saying that he was still alive, but she hadn't. Also, JoJo also has a new left hand that was made by von Stroheim. And then we got an epilogue, which was Lisa did tell JoJo that she is his mother. She ended up marrying a Hollywood screenwriter a few years later. Irina passed away at the age of 81, surrounded by her friends and family. Speedwagon died at age 89 of a heart attack. Smokey went on to be the mayor of a city in Georgia, which was pretty cool. I guess that was pretty much that. I'm getting the feeling that we're not going to be getting a new Zeppeli in Part 3, although that would be so fucking cool if we got another. Caesar did have a bunch of siblings, so I suppose it's possible that the Zeppelis could still be out there. But at the end, we did cut ahead to 1987, where old man Joseph Joestar was going... I think he was going to see his daughter, who he hadn't really seen in 20 years, after she moved to Japan with her husband. And also, JoJo kind of has a grudge against the Japanese because, well, he hasn't seen his daughter. Although I did notice later that he kind of begrudges them, but kind of doesn't, because he was like, oh, it's fucking, they made the Walkman, and that's fucking cool, So it's, I don't know. I think he mainly has a problem with his daughter's husband. So yeah. And we also got two other after credit scenes. One of which was near the Canary Islands, which is where Irina was found at the end of Part 1. A fishing boat brought out a coffin, which, wonder what that could mean. And we also got a look at a very large man in a jail cell, who may or may not be our next JoJo. So yeah, that was Part 2. Before we get into Part 3 here today, we do have two things to go over quickly. The first thing is, okay, we kind of talked about this last episode, but I do pretty much know that there is a character coming back. And I don't know anything that he's going to do. I just know that he's coming back. I don't know how he comes back. I don't know what's happening. I just know that he's coming back. And we'll just leave it at that. The other thing I will admit to, there is something about stands. I don't know what that means, but there is something about stands. That's it. That's all I know. I literally don't know what the fuck that means, so yeah. Other than that, the only other thing we can talk about is the fact that this is the first episode of the season. So if you want to watch my full unedited reaction to this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you can for free. Normally I have full length behind the full length tier on my Patreon page, which is only $5 a month, but because it's the first episode of the season, I let you guys watch this one for free. So head down in the description or to the pinned comment. There will be a link over to my Patreon page, and it will take you to my full unedited reaction. There is no footage because I can't give you the entire episode, but you can hopefully easily sync up your copy of this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to my footage. You can watch it, you can have a good time, hopefully. And if you like it and you think, you know what, I think I want to do this more often, then you can sign up to be a full-length patron. Again, it's only $5 a month. You get early access, which means videos come out a week early on Patreon before YouTube. And you also get... the full length, the full unedited reactions to everything. Movie reactions, anime, live action shows, Doctor Who Classic, everything. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah, you can do that. You don't have to if you don't want to, though. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into episode 1 of part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders. Here we go. Hey guys, just wanted to come on here real quick. I know that intro was super long, but I will really try to make this quick. So due to some things happening that I don't really want to go into on here, I've decided that I'm going to be moving all of my JoJo reactions to the highlight. Now what does that mean? If you've watched my Merlin or MHA videos, you know that basically what I do is I post the pre and post episode discussion here on YouTube, but the actual reaction is going to have to be in its own separate thing. So, yeah, I'm just going to be doing this. Now, this doesn't affect all the previous episodes of JoJo, but this is going to be from this episode, Man Possessed by an Evil Spirit. Moving forward, that's what we're going to be doing. So, if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, what you got to do is head down in the description or to the pinned comment. Click on that link there. It should say JoJo 2x1 Reaction Highlight. Click on that link, and that will take you over to the reaction where it's honestly just a normal reaction. You don't have to pay for it or anything. You just click on it and watch it, and it's like a normal reaction. Hopefully you have a good time, and when you're done with that, I do highly encourage you to pop back over here to this YouTube video for the discussion. So you can go do that right now. Of course, there's still the full length on this episode if you want to do that. But, yeah, that is pretty much it. See you guys at the discussion. Man, is there... okay, here's something I'm curious about. If I go back to part 1, could I see that star on Jonathan's neck? Or on Jonathan's... yeah, it's sort of neck. More like top of his back, really. Son of a bitch. Dio took Jonathan's body. Man. Okay, so everything that I did know going in, Dio is back, and, Dio is back, and there's something about stands. That's all done. And aren't there like 47 more episodes of this season? So, alright guys, I'm back in the dark. I don't know what the hell's happening. Oh my gosh. Okay, so about a year ago... Man, just about a year ago. So a year ago, Joseph just got a stand. Joseph just got a stand, met Avdol, and then now he knows everything. But why? Okay, I don't understand why stands would show up in the Joestar bloodline now. Why would they show up now? Because, we had... They said Avdol had his stand since he was born, but their stands have, they've manifested, basically, since the rebirth of Dio. Because it's the rebirth of Jonathan's body. Because it's the rebirth of Jonathan's body. So, Oh, man. God. Just fucking so much, man. So fucking much. That was a brilliant first episode for the season, you know? Because it packed in a ton. Because I assume then stands... We're done with Hamon then. Like, it's over. They didn't even mention Hamon. The most they said was Holly. Her name is Holly, right? Holly, I guess Holly Kujo. But, you know, she mentioned that, you know, oh, my dad has, you know, powers. I like that they reference Lisa. They reference Elizabeth. But other than, yeah, they really don't reference Hamon at all. Unless, I don't know, I don't even understand Joseph's stand, you know? It's like, there were thorns, like, we didn't see any spirit. We just saw, like, these thorns show up, and then he just smacks the hell out of a camera, and it reveals something. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, that is just insanity, man. It's insanity. It's just, oh god. And oh man, oh my god, it's just like, I don't know, man. I guess it makes sense. Okay, here's the thing. I guess it makes sense if we're done with Hamon, because Hamon, the only reason that we had Hamon was for vampires and the Pillar Men. But honestly, Hamon kind of lost use in part 2 because you couldn't use it against cars. Once cars changed, you couldn't use it against him, and now I guess we just have stands. Although, does Dio have a stand? I guess. But why did... Okay, here's something. Does Dio have a stand? Or is it that Jonathan had a stand? And how would Jonathan have a stand? How would Jonathan have a stand? He never had a stand. It's been 100 years. And seriously, can we go back? Can we go back in part 1 and part 2 and see the birthmark? The star birthmark? And okay, with him talking about the star birthmark, does that mean that, like he said, you know, he asked his mother, is Elizabeth still alive? That would be cool. Oh my gosh. Joseph, you know, it's crazy. It's not just that, okay, I guess this is our new fighting thing, you know? It's not just that this is our new, you know, it's not just that this is our new fighting, you know, our new magic system, I guess. But the fact that Joseph already knew about it. It's so weird because, like, this is and isn't the same Joseph, you know? Like, it's so interesting. You kind of wonder, like, I almost kind of wonder, it's like, what does Joseph do for a living? I don't know, but it's like, it's so interesting. I mean, it's so interesting having Joseph because this is what we didn't have in part 2. In part 2, Jonathan was dead, you know? Jonathan was dead by part 2. So, my gosh. Jonathan was dead by part 2. So, it was just Joseph. Yeah, we had Speedwagon, but that was about it. But this time, okay, we can pretty much assume, obviously by what the show has taught us, that Jotaro is our new protagonist. Which I thought it was pronounced Jotaro, but they say Jotaro. I don't know. I guess I'll just say Jotaro. But, we can obviously know that Jotaro is our new protagonist, because that's what happens. Is part 1 is Jonathan, part 2 is Joseph, part 3 then is Jotaro. But honestly, it's very interesting that you could almost argue that the sort of second main character then is Joseph again. Joseph is sticking around. He might stick around for the whole part. We don't know. That would be really cool. That would be super cool if we had that. It's very interesting just having Joe's... of the Joestars to keep around, they kept... we're keeping Joseph. Not good boy Jonathan. I mean, although, I suppose in a way we are keeping Jonathan because Dio has taken Jonathan's body. I hate that the most. I hate that the most that Dio did actually... He did win. He won, We thought that Jonathan had sacrificed himself and destroyed Dio and everything, but Dio still got away. I guess into just a different coffin. So he just had a spare, basically. And then he did take Jonathan's body before the ship exploded. Man, that sucks the most, I feel like. That sucks the most that he did succeed. He has Jonathan's body. But here's a question. How much of a vampire is he? Is it just his head? He's taken over Jonathan's body, but is Jonathan's body now vampiric? Is Jonathan's body now vampiric? Or is it just... Now, we saw at the end he's still drinking blood. This is crazy that we've abandoned... we're done with the Pillarmen and vampires. It sounds like we're kind of done with Hamon, and now we're moving on to stands. Although, I still think that Joseph was using Hamon. I know he was using his stand, but it looked like Hamon. It also looked like Hamon when he hit the friggin' camera, But if we're done with all of that, yet we still have one vampire. Because Dio is still a vampire. He's a vampire. He was drinking blood because he needs to regain his strength. Oh, man. And hearing his voice again, man. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Fucking Dio is back. And it's so crazy because you think, again, we could move on to something else, okay, we finished all vampires and Pillarmen. Cars is fucking in space. Who cares, It's like we could move on to something else, but no. We're bringing back Dio. I wonder if that was always the plan, to bring back Dio. I don't know. Well, it's weird because almost no one has any involvement with Dio, other than Joseph, really. But even him, he was born after the battle with Dio, we don't have Arena or Speedwagon anymore, so... let's go ahead and let's get into the notes. Dio's alive. And again, I knew that. I knew Dio would be alive going into this, but it's still crazy. It's still fucking crazy that Dio is back. And I like, I like Joseph. I like Joseph being like, it's our duty to kill him, we have to face him. Even though Jotaro, like, I don't even know, like, he might not even, like, I don't want to say, like, he doesn't care, but I mean, he didn't believe the story, but I like that Joseph, because Joseph, who killed all the Pillarmen and Straitso, Joseph, like, feels this sense of duty. It's like, this is the man that, got my grandfather killed, got my great-grandfather killed, got my grandfather killed, caused my grandmother to be a widow for, like, 61 years, And knowing now, hey, this guy, took my grandfather's body. Like, I like that. Joseph stepping up, I like Joseph stepping up with that. So, it's just interesting to see Joseph in this episode, Because, he is and isn't the same Joseph, It's like, he's definitely, older, more mature. He's still kind of a dick, But, I don't know, it's just interesting. So, we did see Jotaro. He was in prison because he was possessed by an evil spirit, which we now know is a stand. And he wanted to stay there to keep people safe, which is interesting. We also got his mother, Joseph's daughter, Holly, which is also interesting because she's kind of interesting, Like, she definitely, like, I don't even know, like, you probably couldn't think that she is Joseph's daughter. Like, I don't know, maybe she takes a bit more after Suzy Q than Joseph. But that was interesting with, like, both times that Jotaro called her a bitch, and she's like, okay, and it's like, what? And I do like, the second time Joseph is getting pissed, like, how dare you call your mother a bitch? Like, ugh. So yeah, Jotaro possessed by a spirit, and this whole crazy thing was just, how it was basically just introducing stands, Jotaro has a stand, this guy Avdol has a stand, Joseph has a stand. Okay, cool. That just came right the hell out of nowhere. Again, no mention of Hamon. I thought maybe it's like, oh, well, he has, like, this spirit, and Joseph is going to try to deal with it with Hamon. Nope. Joseph already knows stands. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. We got mention of the Joestar Corporation, which is interesting. I wonder if that's like the Speedwagon Foundation. We really didn't get anything else of it, but hey, it sounds like Joseph is a businessman, I guess, or something. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We had Avdol, the Egyptian friend, who also has a stand, Magician's Red, which is just a really buff chicken, which is interesting. Only some people can see stands, which is interesting. Which Holly saw it, and Joseph saw it, and obviously Avdol saw it. But yeah, like, that's interesting that not everyone can see it, because those cops didn't see it. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. And then we had the fight, which was cool. It was interesting that Avdol was more going off. He was more trying to take out Jotaro than taking out the actual stand, which is interesting. And Jotaro is a lot stronger than Avdol guessed he would be, which is interesting. So yeah. Jeez, this is all insanity, man. But yeah, we have stands. Fucking, again, insane. It's all insane. I love it, though. We just introduced a new magic system, basically. I like the distinction that, despite it's like, okay, I guess this is our new magic system, this is how we're going to fight, but it's basically like summoning something in order to fight for you. You know, it kind of reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or I guess Pokemon or something. You know, you're summoning this thing in order to battle. But I like the distinction that, you know, when Jotaro's stand starts choking Magician's Red, it also starts choking Avdol. That's really interesting. So like, even still, like, even if your stand gets hurt, you also feel that pain. So yeah, I do really like that distinction. You know, again, it really does set up this interesting new magic system we have, basically. So yeah. And what else? There was something else about the stands. I don't remember what it was, though. Maybe I could look back and see. Oh! They said something about breathing, didn't they?
What the hell's going on? None of this makes any sense!
Papa, that's enough! What are you doing to Jotaro?
Holly, be a good
Yeah, it's Holly.
Papa finish what he started, okay? I can't breathe.
The evil spirit is withdrawing.
The heat is restricting his breathing, which causes the evil spirit to weaken. And now for the truth. This may seem like an evil spirit, but it's far from it. Jotaro, this thing you believe has possessed you is actually a powerful vision, created by your own life energy. This vision will always appear standing by your side. And because of that, we call it a stand!
Okay. So, I guess because it's a projection of your own life energy, that's why, because it's a projection of your own life energy, that's why if Jotaro has trouble breathing, then it will weaken the stand. Okay. I thought for a second it's like, oh, it's like Hamon. You need to be able to, you know, you need to have good breathing, but it is a bit different, so that's good. It is different, but yeah, it's the same thing where, you know, if it gets choked, you get choked. If you can't breathe, it can't breathe. So it is both. It's actually, it goes both ways, where if one of them is harmed, the other feels the same way, basically. So that's interesting. So yeah, it's a projection, basically, of your life energy. So yeah. And we also got that, once again, that Joseph also has his own stand that manifested about a year ago, and that's when he's been learning about everything. And I'm going to kind of go back and look. Yeah, so he has his own stand.
So I suddenly obtained a stand of my own.
What did you say?
Gramps, what did you...
Okay, by the way, subtitles. So, okay, I think normally there are two different types of subtitles on this. They're on Netflix here. There's English, and then there's English closed captions. There are no English closed captions on part 3 anymore. So the subtitles they're giving me are for the Japanese, so they don't match up when I'm watching the dub. That's infuriating.
Get ready. Let me introduce my stand.
Yeah, like, the thorns come out, but still, that looks like he actually, like, used Hamon. Maybe he did. Maybe it's both.
Came out of my hand. This is my stand. It can reveal faraway visions and place them on film. The only downside is I have to bust a 30,000 yen camera every time I use it.
That's very unfortunate.
Everything all right here? We're fine. Now go on. Run along. Of course. A matter of seconds, a vision will appear.
Yeah, they're just yelling in a coffee shop.
It will reveal your very destiny. What
what?
Jotaro, Holly, have either of you ever taken the time to look carefully at the back of your necks?
What does that mean?
You each have it, but you probably never thought much about it.
Yeah.
A birthmark shaped like a star. It turns out that we all have it.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. What the hell does all this mean?
My father died when I was young, so I asked my mother about it, and she said he had one too. It seems that everyone from the Joestar bloodline is born with this exact same birthmark.
Alright. Just what the hell is gonna turn up in that photograph?
It's our destiny, a path that until now has been unknown.
I'm losing my patience. Just show me the damn photo already!
Ugh.
Dio! He shows up in all my spirit photos. And look what's just above his shoulder. From the neck of this bastard on down is Jonathan Joestar, my grandfather. This son of a bitch took over his body!
That's so fucking crazy, man. That's so fucking crazy. That, it's the best way of telling. Now, granted, he still has a giant scar around his neck, by the way. But yeah, that's an interesting way of confirming that every Joestar has this birthmark, and that proves that Dio has Jonathan's body. That fucking, So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yes, Joseph also has a stand, which, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like his stand also used Hamon. Or at least it looks, it maybe, like, his stand just looks like his Hamon. I don't know. But yeah, very interesting. But we didn't see an actual spirit with him, so I'll be curious to see. I'll be curious what it looks like. So yeah. But that's pretty much it. This has been a crazy, jam-packed first episode. And yeah, we have a new magic system. We have a new protagonist. We still have our old protagonist. And then we also have our old villain who has taken over the body of good boy Jonathan Joestar, which... I hate that. I hate that Dio actually won and took Jonathan's body. Oh, man. You know what's interesting? They never said Dio Brando. They only said Dio. I just realized that. They always just say Dio, but they never say Dio Brando. It's his name, I guess. So, I don't know. Maybe he lost the Brando when he lost the rest of his body. That would be really funny. Anyway, but that's pretty much it. Pretty crazy first episode, and I'm excited to get into the rest of Stardust Crusaders. So yeah, that is pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later. Oh god, excuse me.